Welcome to Home Buying 101 with Francisco Gonzalez. Today with me is Denise Abarca from Nova Home Loans. Denise, thank you for being on the show today.
Thank you for having me.
So Denise, what got you into the mortgage industry? Who are you? Tell us about yourself.
So I'm Denise Abarca with Team Abarca at Nova Home Loans. I've been a mortgage loan officer for about 6 years. And prior to originating mortgage loans, I was a processor. So I was processing the mortgage loans, pretty much doing all the middle piece of a transaction when it comes to home purchase. And after a couple years of processing, I made the decision to get my license, become a loan officer so that I can educate the client up front and not have to be figuring stuff out in the middle process as a processor. When the expectations were not set for the clients, it made it very challenging for me to process. So I made the decision to get my license, become a loan officer, and my brother obviously encouraged me to also take that step.
So with your processing before you became a loan officer, of course, that helped you become a better loan officer because you knew pretty much from start to finish what it took to close a loan or what to get a loan closed, I guess.
Yes, exactly. I was able to do a complete application, a complete 1003, which made it easier for the buyer and just set the right expectations to the buyer so they know exactly what's going to be needed from them when the processor is contacting them for any documents. They already know exactly what's going to be needed for the transaction.
So you kind of set the stage and say, hey, this is what it's going to look like once I hand it off to our processor.
Yes, exactly.
That's awesome. That's a good experience for the client because you set the expectation at least.
Yes, it definitely helps.
So, of course, Denise, every week we start off the show with talking about what the market looks like. So as of today's active market, we're looking at 13,096 active listings. That's down about 381 from last week. Coming soon, we've got 623 coming soon. Pending, we've got about 10,171 with a median listing price of $515 and a median sold price of $437. And with days on market, 74 days on the market. So Denise, with a median sold price of $437, what's that kind of looking like today, payment-wise for somebody?
Yes, so on a conventional loan, we're looking at about an interest rate of 6.75, your principal and interest payment of about $2,692. On an FHA loan, interest rate will be closer to about a 6.125, and your principal interest and mortgage insurance is about $2,607.
Okay.
These are estimated figures depending on your scenario.
And of course, if anybody wanted to actually get some real figures depending on their situation, it's better for them to reach out to you and you can customize the scenario for them, correct?
Yes, correct.
So Denise, with everyone that's been on the show before, between episodes 1 and 13, if you guys want to look back on those episodes, it kind of shows you the whole home buying process and everything. But I wanted to have you on the show to talk about down payment assistance programs because those are very important. It's always ever changing. So I guess for starters, could you explain to us what a down payment program is and how does it work?
Yeah, so a down payment assistance program is pretty much assists the buyer with the down payment of a home purchase. We have several options. Some options are 3%, 4%, 5%, and we can also get down payment assistance to help buy down an interest rate or cover closing cost.
Okay. So what are the main benefits of a down payment assistance program for both as a borrower and as you guys as lenders?
I think the biggest benefit is that the buyer doesn't have to save up the 3% on a conforming loan, the 3.5% on an FHA loan. If they have $1,000, $2,000, we can still help them get into a home. As far as a lender, there's really not a big difference. A transaction with down payment assistance or without, it's pretty much the same on our end.
So the benefit is, of course, you're helping borrowers that may have not qualified with the down payment because they don't have it get into a home.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. So I guess, let's just start talking about some of the programs that you guys as Nova offer or some of them that are in town that right now you're seeing or you're offering to some of your clients.
Yeah, so at Nova, we do offer Home Plus, Home in 5, Arrive, and Chenoa. All of those down payment assistance programs do have typically a slight higher interest rate, but the programs do cover the full down payment in most cases. There are also down payment assistance programs through Trellis, which are grants that can help up to $35,000, $40,000 for down payment, whether it's buying down the rate or paying closing costs. So there's several options. And through Trellis, they do have different requirements. So I just highly encourage you to make the call, give us a call, figure out, let's check out your scenario to see what programs would be available for you.
And when it comes to it being a grant, do they have to pay back that grant, or is that grant, I guess, gifted to them if they stay at the property a certain amount of time, or how does that work?
Yes, most of the programs require either a 3-year or a 5-year forgivable. So after making 36 payments or 5-year payments on time, then the amount that they did receive will be forgiven. So they don't have to pay anything back.
And then what programs, I guess, they do they have to pay it back, or is there any, or all the programs mostly all forgivable?
Most of them are forgivable. Trellis does have a program through Newtown, which is non-forgivable. It's a conventional loan that provides up to $35,000. This program would be non-forgivable. So if the buyer was to sell their house, refinance, they would have to pay the amount back.
Okay. And then what are some eligibility requirements or restrictions for someone to qualify for some of these programs?
Yeah, so some of the programs require a credit score requirement of 640 or 680. Some of the programs can get you qualified at a 580, but there is income requirements depending on your family household. Just to give you an example, for the WISH program, which provides up to $29,000, the max income for a family of 4 is about $70,650.
Okay. So there is a max income limit also, so you can't qualify if you make $300,000 a year.
Correct. There are some programs that are available if you make $300,000 a year, but not for WISH.
Okay.
None of the Trellis programs allow you to have more than 120% below the average income limit.
Okay. So what are some common challenges or obstacles that you're seeing right now with some of these programs?
I would say the biggest challenge is typically if it's a credit score requirement. We have an amazing team at Nova that can provide a credit plan for the client, but that's typically the hurdle, getting them to the 640 or 680. The higher your credit score, the higher we can go with your debt to income ratio with most of the programs. So that's typically the only hurdle. Other than that, obviously, if your income is above the guidelines, then we just find another program that we can take advantage of.
And I know if someone's dedicated enough, they'll follow the directions, they'll follow you guys' plan. And I know that at Nova, and correct me if I'm wrong, you guys have someone that does the credit plan for you guys in-house,
Yes.
correct?
Yes, Eva is amazing. So she'll provide the credit plan to the client, tell us exactly, if it's going to take 30 days, 60 days, tell you exactly what needs to be done. If the client follows the plan, getting those scores to improve can be something within the next 30 days, 60 days. The longest credit plan that I've seen is 1 year.
Okay. And then does it take longer for a client to qualify for a DPA, or is it the same time period as just a regular loan?
Same as a regular loan. We can close DPA loans within 30 days on a typical closing. The Trellis programs, they do have to apply for Trellis separate. We can always help them with any questions or concerns that they may have, but getting the application started, the sooner the better, but typically a closing is 30 days.
Okay. Is there any common misconceptions or anything that, like, let's say, for example, you'd like for people to know about these programs that maybe people don't know about?
Pretty much what you mentioned earlier about that the programs are forgivable. So if you're getting, $25,000, $29,000 for your down payment, you won't ever have to pay it back if you occupy your property. A lot of people think that they have to pay it back, or it's a repayable option, or they can't sell, or they're kind of stuck in the property. I know a lot of agents sometimes think like down payment assistance programs go away, or they don't know if we're going to be able to close on time because it's a down payment assistance. But to be honest, so like I mentioned, it's like a same transaction on a regular purchase with your own funds. At least the funds are secured. We know they're there.
And as right now, when rates went up, you guys were the only ones that still had the DPA
Yes.
program, correct?
Exactly. Nova Home Loans never stopped any down payment assistance programs. I know several lenders did put a pause on down payment assistance, but here at Nova, we've been moving forward. We help a lot of first-time home buyers, and saving up those funds it's not possible for a lot of the clients that I work with. So we rely heavily on down payment assistance programs.
And I'm assuming, especially right now, just because rents are always going up, so it's hard to save when your landlord walks in one day, hey, next month your lease is going from $500 to $800, or they're just increasing people's rents ridiculously right now. So it's hard to save. So I'm happy
Yes.
we've got these programs to help people out. So Denise, I've heard about a program in Avondale. Can you go into detail about that?
Yeah, so the Avondale does have a program that provides up to $40,000 for your down payment or closing costs. The buyer's contribution is 1%. So the minimum is $1,000, or it's up to 1%. And the max purchase price is $476. So if the buyer comes in with about $4,760, they can get up to $40,000. This is definitely going to help you lower your payment, go towards your down payment, your closing costs, or whatever is needed. And the program is forgivable after 5 years. So as long as you make your payments on time, it could be forgiven after 5 years.
And it has to be a house in Avondale.
Correct. Yes. As long as if you're interested in the Avondale area, it's a great area. I live in Goodyear, so it's right down the street. But Avondale is a great area to live. So if you want to take advantage of up to $40,000, take advantage of that program now.
And it's growing. Avondale's growing because I know there's a lot of new build communities out there. So that's an awesome program for such a good area too.
Yes, and you can purchase a single family, condo, townhouse. Some manufactured homes are allowed as well with down payment assistance.
What about a ranch or anything like that?
Yes, that's acceptable if it's like a manufactured house, like on a ranch, because I know a lot of people do want the big ranch, the big areas. So that is definitely acceptable with down payment assistance.
Is there any programs just for Phoenix or is it just Avondale right now?
We also have a City of Phoenix down payment assistance program. The buyer's minimum contribution is 1%, and the max purchase price is $476 as well with this program.
And how much do they get there? Do they get 40,000 or is it a different amount?
They get 10% of the purchase price.
So do you have any success stories for us about anyone that's used these programs?
I do. I had a buyer that was referred over to me because she was interested in renting, right? She wanted to rent a house. She didn't know that homeownership would be even possible. Her concerns were her credit score. She didn't have the down payment, but obviously we can help her with the down payment assistance. We pulled her credit, her scores. We had to work on credit for about 30 days, but we were able to get her into a home with, I think it was like $1,500 to $2,000 out of pocket, which was way less than having to go rent and even doing the application to rent a home. Nowadays, that process is pretty lengthy, and they require more sometimes than an actual mortgage loan. So it was super nice to be able to help a client with $1,500 out of pocket to be able to become homeowners.
Because right now, what did you say the average monthly payment is right now for just?
So if we are able to do the WISH program, the same purchase price that you mentioned earlier, I think it was $437. We can buy down the rate to like a 5.5, and that can lower the principal, interest, and mortgage insurance to about $2,500. So we can also lower your payments. It's like a win-win.
Yeah, so I mean, $2,500. That's like average rent payment on a lot of places now. So it's if you can qualify, you can get into a home and find a home that you qualify for. Talking to a loan officer, talking to a realtor, might as well invest in yourself than invest in someone else's property.
Exactly.
Okay. Is there anything else about DPAs that you think we should know about?
I think just give us a call and let's check out your scenario. Let's see where your income's at, where your credit scores are at, and fit you into one of these programs, because some of the programs are limited, so the funds may run out. So I encourage you, like if what's holding you back from purchasing is the down payment, like call us. Like let's get you a plan, call your loan officer. There's so many options out there, so don't let having your own down payment hold you back from purchasing. And sellers are still helping with closing costs. So if it's something where the down payment is only covering your down payment and the seller can help with your concessions to cover the closing costs, you can come in out of pocket with $0, to be honest.
So DPAs, new programs are always coming out for DPA. So like you said, they might run out, but there's always a new program coming out.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and mainly the one that will run out is the WISH program. Those funds are limited. Every year there's an amount allocated for this program. So hopefully they last a little longer, but typically by, I think like October, the funds may run out. The funds are available now. There's enough funds for everyone, so take advantage now.
This week being tax week, hey, get those tax returns and let's buy a home.
Yes, use those funds. Whatever, any of your tax refund money can always be used towards your down payment, closing costs, and you can always get gift funds as well. Gift funds can also be part of your contribution if needed.
So even if you're doing a DPA program, if you're getting funds gifted, you can use all of that.
Yes.
So there's no limitations on anything. I guess as a regular loan or a DPA, there's no limitations on that.
Correct. Nope.
Okay. So if someone want to reach out to you, where can they reach out to you, Denise?
Give me a call. My phone number is 602-446-5827, or you can find me online. You can Google Denise Abarca at Nova Home Loans, and I'll come up.
Okay. Well, Denise, thank you for being on the show. And of course, if you guys have any other questions for Denise or have any insurance related questions, please reach out to us. Thank you for being on the show this week.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Francisco.